many times can I say jam in one intro? Oh my lord. Of course you can.
I thought you made jam by standing on it with your toes.
That's wine. On that note, everybody, how you doing? I hope you're doing really well. Welcome back to my channel and to another video in the kitchen. I'm quite excited about this one because we're going to be making homemade jam. Now, I've never made jam in my life, at least I don't think I've ever made jam in my life. I've ate a lot of jam in my life because I love jam, or jelly if you're from the US. I know you guys call jam jelly, but for jelly, for us, it's like set and it like wobbles. I'm not sure if you have that as well. Anyway, we're making jam and we're also going to be making some fruit scones as well because I've been very kindly sent over a jam maker from a brand called Bowl, and it is in partnership with Lakeland. So I'm not being paid to make this video by no means. I'm just very grateful that they sent over a jam making kit. They're like, hey, do you want to make some jam? I said yes. I thought you guys would enjoy learning how to make jam. Maybe not the traditional way if you're used to making jam. How many times can I say jam in one intro? But we're going to be making some jam. So I made myself a cup of tea and we're going to be getting cracking. But before we do, if you could give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to click subscribe, that would be amazing. I'm going to run through the ingredients and then let's get cracking. So this is the machine. This is the Bowl Fresh Tech Automatic Jam and Jelly Maker. Now, as I've said, jam or jelly, depending on how you say it. Apparently it makes jam in half an hour, which is incredible. We've obviously got some strawberries. These are fresh strawberries. We need 1 kilogram in total, 800 grams after you've like hulled them and destoned them. So strawberries, but of course you can make any jam that you'd like. And then they've also included some lovely goodies, which is some bowl, we've got some jam setting pectin. I think this just basically makes it, yeah, like set up and firm up so you can spread it instantly. We've also got some decorative jam stickers, which we're going to be doing our own jars of jam. And we have a bag of granulated sugar, which I'm being very careful with because it's slightly tore at the back. I will go through the full recipe. We have a jam spoon here with my name on it, which is so cool, that's very kind. And then some jam jars, which we are going to sterilise in this wonderful wicker basket. And we also have an afternoon tea stand at the back, which is a ceramic tea stand. We have a plastic one, so this is very exciting. So I'm going to run through what you need in terms of ingredients, then we're going to open up this and get cracking. So I have the recipe here, and the things you're going to need, obviously you're going to need the jam maker, or if you're going to do this by a pot, and I guess you could do that as well. You're going to need 750 grams of crushed strawberries, which is about 1 kilo if you buy them from the shop. 3 tablespoons of jam setting pectin mix, 1/2 teaspoon of butter or margarine, and 660 grams of granulated sugar. And I think this makes a lot of jam, but it should be ready in half an hour. So, on your marks, get set, bake. Let's make some jam. So I've just assembled the jam maker and I've gave it obviously a washout because it's a new device. So yeah, all clean and ready to go. Relatively easy to assemble, like literally 2-3 steps. It's flashing because basically you can enter a jam setting for 21 minutes or a jelly setting for 25 minutes. I'm going to cancel that. So first things first, I need to wash all of these strawberries and get rid of the tops, like hull them, and that's going to be a long old job, so I might get Zara in to help out. Okay, so I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of this jam pectin, and it says you've got to do an even layer on the bottom of the jam pan, so I think that just stops it from sticking and helps it thicken up, so I'm going to do that now. Okay, so these are the hulled and washed strawberries, and we've got 750 grams in total on the dot. Not sure how I did that. These have just got to get mashed up with like a potato masher, and then we add it into the jam pot. Okay, so I've mashed up all of the strawberries, and then it says add them on top of the pectin like evenly, so I'm just going to spread that around the outside like that. Grab a little spatula and scrape that on a second. It also says add 1/2 teaspoon of butter or margarine, so that's 1/4 teaspoon. Then I'm going to add the second one in. And I think that helps with the frothing to kind of like cool it down, I think. I'm not sure of the science behind it, but it just says to add it in. Okay, so that is ready to go. So you just pop the lid on, like so. And it's got some steam slots on the side as well, which is really good. So we don't add the sugar yet. We need to select the jam setting, which is here. So it's going to do 21 minutes, and then we just press enter to start. So inside the motor is operating. So effectively what this is going to be doing is having temperature come up from the bottom, and then just churn in the jam, which is perfect. So you haven't got to stir it, which is so good, which means you can start getting cracking with other things where we're going to make some scones. So I'm going to leave that do its thing for 21 minutes and then we add the sugar. Okay, so the jam has been going for 4 minutes and now it's beeped 4 times, which indicates that it's time to add the sugar. We've got 660 grams of sugar here, so quite a lot. And it says you just add it in a spoonful at a time while the stir is actually going. So we just got to stir it in. Oh my goodness, it smells incredible, guys. I genuinely feel like summer has been gone. I'm filming this in mid-August. It is chucking it down outside. But the great thing about this is that you haven't got to stand and stir. You kind of just leave it do its own thing, which is fantastic. I'm finishing off my tea. And Ball have been very kind and sent over some jam jars. So I'm going to give these a good clean. And then what they do recommend is that you preheat the jam jars either in a dishwasher to fully sterilize them and keep them warm. So basically when you add the hot jam, which is going to be very hot, into the glass, it doesn't like crack, which is obviously not what you want. So I'm going to give these a wash. I'm going to boil a kettle, let the kettle water cool to around 60 degrees and then preheat these. It should make 6 jars apparently, which is fantastic. So the jam has 2 minutes left to be done and it is bubbling away nicely. I've gotten all of the ingredients out to make some scones. As I said, we're going to do fruit scones. This is a Mary Berry recipe. I will leave it linked down below. I've made scones before and they were absolutely delicious. So we're using the same recipe. So we're going to use, the recipe makes 12 scones. I'm going to halve it. So I'm only going to make 6, but the recipe calls for 2 eggs, 100 grams of butter. We've got a splash of milk, some self-raising flour, which we need 450 grams, caster sugar, which we need 50 grams, and then we also need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And I'm making fruit scones, as I said, so I'm going to add in some sultanas. So I'm going to weigh out all the ingredients, and then that, oh actually, we're 1 minute away, so let's focus back on the jam. Okay, so it's just this final beep, so that is absolutely perfect. So what we can do is remove the lid. It says remove the lid immediately. So let all of that steam come out. So I'm just going to take that to one side. And then it says also to press cancel, so that's done. So this is our jam, which looks absolutely fantastic. It says you can spoon away any of the foam on top if there is any, but to be honest guys, I think we're doing really well. I'm just going to let this blip away ever so slightly and then I'm going to transfer it to the jars. Okay, so the jars have been warmed and sterilized and they're all good to go. I've just let them air dry, I haven't put anything inside them. You want to keep as little bacteria potential as possible. So obviously this is now ready to ladle in. And then you just want to ladle some of the jam, which is looking, it's quite runny, but I imagine it's going to firm up once it's had time to actually set. So just give it a little stir, so make sure it's all combined, and then you just want to pour that straight into your jam jars. Don't worry if you get a bit on the side, it can easily be wiped up. Okay, so I managed to get 5 good decent jars of strawberry jam out of the recipe. I guess it totally depends on the size of like jam jar you're using, but the recipe says that you're supposed to leave it to cool for around half an hour until it's really like kind of like room temperature, and then you add the lid. So it is still summer and I know there's some flies kicking around, so I'm gonna get a grease-proof paper sheet like this and just put that over the top, just so effectively no creepy crawlies can fly in. So we're going to leave that to cool for half an hour while we make the scones. Okay, so now it's time to make the scones. So we're going to add 225 grams of self-raising flour into a mixing bowl. Like I said, this is half the quantity, so by all means do make enough to feed a lot of people if you'd like. Oh, that's quite a lot. We need to add 25 grams of caster sugar, perfect. 1 level teaspoon of baking powder, so we're going to do that. And then we need to add 100 grams of butter. Now, it says you're supposed to rub it in with your hands, but I'm just going to use my KitchenAid just because it's quicker and easier, and I just really like using it. Okay, so we just want to lightly beat this until it starts to resemble breadcrumbs, so I think like 20 seconds should do it. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to add in the beaten up milk and egg mixture. Also, I haven't really got a quantity of sultanas, but I'm just going to add in quite a few because I really love sultanas. By all means, you can make these plain fruit scones without the fruit, but I just love sultanas. Okay, so I've cleared the deck area here, and I'm just gonna bring this together in the bowl. It should be a nice like sticky consistency, which is perfect. Okay, so now we've got the scones. What I'm gonna do is just pop a little bit of flour on the side, and ideally you'd have like a round ramekin cutter, but we don't. And I've got a lightly greased bacon pan here, and what I'm gonna do is just cut out some scone shapes and then pop them directly onto the pan. A lot of people say you shouldn't twist. I'm not sure why. I think it might affect the rise, but I find a twist does wonders. And then I use a palette knife to just slide it underneath and then transfer that onto the pan. So now that we've got the scones, I'm just going to pop a little bit of milk in a ramekin and use a pastry brush. This one's new from my mum, thanks mum. And then just brush the tops of the scones with a little bit of milk. This just helps it go nice and golden in the oven. You don't need a lot. You can use the remainder of the egg wash if you've got a little bit of that left in your jug or whatever like that. It just really helps with getting the tops nice and golden brown. And then these just need to go into the oven for around 12 to 15 minutes until they're nice and golden brown on top and they've risen. So in they go, and then let's set a timer for 12 minutes and we'll check them. Okay, so the scones are fully cooled and I'm just going to give them a little dusting of icing sugar just to let them, oh look at that, a little bit of icing. You can use caster sugar if you'd like, but I prefer icing sugar on scones. And then we're going to dig in. Look at them. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm just going to cut up the scones now. They are still very warm, which is just joyous. And then nice and tender, which is fantastic. So we're going to do some Rhoda's clotted cream, which is just an absolute must when it comes to scones. Any form of cream or butter. You can do butter if you'd like. And the jam has basically set. It's still quite warm. So I'm going to pop this on warm jam and cream. And the rest I'm going to jar up and pop in the fridge. I've roped in Zara to come and try the scones on camera because I've made 7 scones and I can't have 7 scones myself. They look incredible, like genuinely beyond thrilled. So hopefully they'll taste as good as they look.
They will.
And they're a little bit delicate. I think because they're warm, cold scones just cook better. Sorry, might be a bit of a mission. Are we ready? Let's go in for the taste test.
How many ways I've broken it, please?
Oh, it's alright.
Oh no.
Just gotta go in. Are we ready? Oh my lord.
Yes! That's delicious.
Zara, I've literally made homemade jam.
Look at you go, Glen Coco.
I'm basically a domesticated man now.
You really are.
I'm making jam, I'm making scones. Guys, it's really good. It's not too sweet. You can definitely play around with the sugar levels if you want like a less sweet jam, but...
That is deliciously.
You like it?
Well done.
That was a cup of Rosie Lee.
Rosie Lee? What's that?
Tea.
Oh.
I'm gonna end this video here. Sorry about the sound of the rain as well, it actually might be quite therapeutic. I'm going to finish off my scone and have a cup of tea. I hope you have enjoyed this rather quick, intensive guide on how to make jam. If you do want to check out the fantastic bowl jam maker, of course you can make your jam at home in a saucepan with a pan and you're alright.
Can you? I just cautiously, you can just see my hand.
Just digging in. You can make your jam at home with a heavy bottom saucepan and a spoon, by all means. But yeah, I'll leave the jam maker link down below along with the recipes that I've used as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, as always, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe.
Can I just say?
Of course you can.
I thought you made jam by standing on it with your toes.
That's wine.
Oh.
On that note, I'll catch you all very soon. Bye for now. Really?
Yeah.